If you're looking for a show that has formal interviews with few things you can relate to, then this show isn't for you. This is the On the Air podcast starring you, the OTAP Show. What does OTAP stand for? Well, we kind of just told you. These are informal interviews with people from all walks of life, talking about experiences you can relate to. Share in all of the laughs with real stories from real people. Find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Android users can listen on the free Podcast Republic app. Now, get ready for this week's episode. Here's the OTAP Show with your host, Corey.
What up, everybody? It's your boy Smooth Over, aka Real Ghost White.
Hey, this is Nikita, aka Jakari Star.
Yo, what's good? This is your boy Bob.
This is Kaya, aka Black Honey.
Hey folks, this is Corey, the host for Metal for Brains.
Hey girl, she's so pretty.
This is Greg, the infamous New Age Ike Turner.
Kicking it with the homie Corey, aka The Real City. Now you're listening to On the Air Podcast.
And you're listening to the On the Air Podcast.
The On the Air Podcast.
The On the Air Podcast.
Starring you.
Starring you.
Starring you.
Welcome to another episode of the OTAP Show. I know I've been away for a minute, and I apologize for that. I just kind of had to take some time and kind of regroup and recuperate. It was just the month of July. It was kind of tough. There was a lot of things that was going on, and being an introvert, it just kind of took the wind, and it took a lot of the energy out of me. But I'm back, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I have a very special guest with us this week that I'll be interviewing, Miss Nicole Tresvant. So before I get into the ins and outs, I want you to tell us, who is Nicole Tresvant?
Oh gosh. Well, hi everybody. My name is Nicole Tresvant. I'm the daughter of Ralph Tresvant. He's the lead singer of New Edition. That's not the most important part, but I am also a singer, and I'm doing my own thing. Been doing it for a while now, so been in and out of it, back and forth. So we are working on some stuff now. So yeah.
All right, cool. So let me put you on the spot right now. Who is
Okay.
So we all know who Ralph Tresvant is. Who is your favorite male singing group?
Male singing group?
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say New Edition, because
Really?
I grew up because I grew up around them. So I see their hard work is amazing. So, and I see they've been around for 30 plus years, and they've been touring. So I've been to all their shows, and their work ethic is just amazing. So yeah, and they're just really humble guys. I love them.
So you're not just saying that for obvious reasons.
Right. No, not at all.
Okay. All right, cool. I thought I was gonna really get you into that right there.
No, I'm good. No, not at all.
let me ask this. I want to start off with a little bit about your dad, just because from the standpoint of what I see, just like anybody else, but I really notice it with you. You are, not only does it show that you adore your father, it's like you're genuinely very, very proud of him, and all of your pictures and how you talk about him. That's really awesome, and that's a really cool thing to see from any standpoint. At what point did you first realize that your dad was sort of bigger than just being your dad, if that makes sense?
It was actually I was in kindergarten. He picked me up from school one day, And this is when they had their Home Again. Well, it wasn't Home Again, but they had I'm Still in Love.
That was my jam. That
with
was
you.
my jam.
And so he picked me up from school one day, and these girls, these young girls, they like bum rushed them, and they're like, oh my goodness, can you kiss me like you kissed the girl in the video, please, 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 please. And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, what? I'm like, you bet not. Like, my mother's in the car. Like, you bet not do it, Dad. You bet not. But it was, and so he's like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm just sitting there holding his hand. He's like, got my daughter right here. I'm like, okay. So then he didn't do it, but we got back in the car, and I'm just looking at him, and I'm looking at my mom, and I'm looking at him. And it was just so weird. I'm like, why are these women jumping up, trying to get you to kiss them? Like,
right, because this is just dad.
And then, right, it's just dad to me. But what really, but another time, it really freaked me out because I was at home, and this young Asian girl, she just walks into our house.
What?
And yes, she just walks into the house one day. I'm sitting on the stairs, and I'm like playing with a Barbie doll or something. And so she just opens up the door, and she's probably like 17, something like that. She's a teenager, and she's looking, because my dad in this particular house he had his plaques going all around the living room. So it's huge, and you just see his plaques all the way around. So she's just looking and staring around, and I'm like, and she's like, is your dad, she's asking me questions, and I'm like, yeah. That's my dad. But so it was just, that was a really weird experience. I was just like, I've never.
So wait, who was the? Because the way the story comes off is this a random Asian chick. Who was she?
Yeah, she was just a random Asian chick.
Like wait, time out.
I've never seen her again.
Did anybody else in the house knew who she was?
No, she just walked in.
She
didn't know who she was, and she didn't know who we. I mean, obviously she knew who we were, but she wasn't like a friend in the family or anything. She just walked in the house.
Y'all wasn't locking doors or nothing?
Obviously this day the door was not locked. So I don't know what happened.
Nobody called the police.
No, I don't know where my parents were, actually. I just felt like I was there by myself at that moment. So I'm just sitting there. At that time, I'm just blank, like, what's going on? So I promise you, I don't know what happened after that. I just know, I just remember myself being there, and I'm just sitting there. I probably ran and told my mom. Maybe she was in her bedroom or something, but the girl ran out, I guess, after that, from what I remember. So
wow, like
it was pretty funny.
That's something I'm pretty sure me nor any of my listeners has ever experienced. A random Asian lady walking into their house, like, wow,
it's pretty weird. Like, just coming there and asking, who is this really his house? And I'm like, okay.
That definitely wouldn't have flown in my house. That wouldn't have flown at
all. Right.
Where did you grow up primarily?
I'm from California, so I was born in LA and Van Nuys, California, so in the Valley, and then we moved on down to the Bay Area. That's where I spent a lot of time. San Francisco, San Jose, Hayward, all around there. And then, so California.
How did you find yourself, I guess you and your family, what led you all to Georgia?
Well, my dad, after my parents split up, he and his current wife now, they had already moved to Georgia. So they were already here. So it was just me and my mom and my brother and my sister. So we were still in California, but we had no family out there. So, all of my mom's family is out here. And and my father was as well. So it was just the best move for us to just come here and start over, pretty much.
At what point did you realize life might be a little different for you than what it typically has been for your peers?
I don't. I mean, it's
Or
to
was
me,
it? Or
it's
was
not
it?
different. But I mean, no, it's. I mean, to me, it's not different. But to other people, it seems like it is because I'm always asked, "How does it feel to have a famous father? How does it feel to, be a celebrity kid? If I was you, I would be here and there, but you're just so humble." And I was like, oh, because that's just not how I was raised. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like they didn't just throw me into things like of course I went on tour with them and things like that, but they always allowed me to just be a kid. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I went to regular public school, not a private school. Um, I did, I did the YMCA every year,
I did
summer
that.
summer camp. Summer camp, see? So I did regular stuff. So I did regular things, but it's just that is the only difference is that my father is just, pretty much in the spotlight and a lot of people know him. So it just makes people feel like my lifestyle or whatever would be a little different, but you know,
Gotcha.
there you
Gotcha.
go.
So,
Yeah.
with your having, pretty much going on, not pretty much, you actually you did, you going on tour, and it seemed like he kept you really close. Were you close with any of or did you even know or even have conversations with any of the other children for any of the other members of New Edition?
There's not many. I mean, there's only a couple. Like Bobby's daughter, we're pretty much around the same age. LaPrincia, we keep in contact a lot. We talk, quite a bit. So she's the main one, but we pretty much haven't seen each other in a long time, surprisingly.
Mm,
So, usually with certain shows she goes to, I don't go to, so we never really get to see each other, but we always talk. We do talk, pretty much like social media, things like that. We keep in contact because our mothers were really close. Our mothers knew each other and you know,
mm-hmm.
they hung out when they were younger. So,
I'm a,
we
I'm
know
a,
of each other.
I'm going to ask this question, just for this, out of the respect and to give my, my audience an opportunity to pay their respects to that, if that's the case. But so Bobby Brown's daughter, Bobby Christina, were you all close?
No, I met her one time out here in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I was over my aunt's house, which she's really close with. She was really close with her daughters. Um, being that they were a little closer in age. So at that point, she was still, she was just really sweet. She was so shy and timid. I would ask her like, "Hey, do you sing as well?" And she's like, "Yeah." But she didn't want to sing in front of me though. But that's the only time I really saw her. But she was just the sweetest, like most genuine little, young lady I've ever really talked to. Being that who our parents are, who they are. So
Gotcha.
her mom and her dad are both famous, so she's really had it bad. So that spotlight,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha. What's the best lesson or the greatest lesson that your father has ever taught you?
Well, he's always told me so much, but really, just to be a good person. Like people are people, like he always told me, like celebrities, all these people, they're just people. And I see that firsthand because, my father's who he is. So I just see him as my father. But, just to be a good person, a genuine person, a humble person, and to just never, to always, you can look up to people, but to never, downplay yourself because of who someone else is. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So he's always something like Oprah. Like you can get in the room, like you can sit in a room with Oprah. Yes, she's like huge, but her presence or something like that, it doesn't, it's not any different than what you are. It's just like sitting, talking to just a stranger that you just don't know. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So just to never, pretty much not to, not to feel less than around anybody, never downplay yourself, always do what you're going to do and do it right. So.
Cool. Let's change gears a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about your singing career. So you sing, and in a moment I want to play one of your songs, but before we get into that, why singing? Why not? I don't know. Let's say anything else. You chose the family business, quote unquote.
Right. Honestly, it's just something that I've always loved. Being around it is just something that, but really what really got me into it was just writing. I love writing. I love writing music, I can write music without having a beat or a track or anything like that, and just have a melody. That's what I've done since I was little. Writing poetry, just writing. That was really my main thing. Singing itself just came along with it. You know what I mean? So, I wasn't expecting to I really just wanted to be a writer. But so many people told me, and they just, cheered me on like, hey, this is something that you need to do. So pretty much that's just, and the thing is, I don't like to be in the spotlight. So that's pretty much why I don't like being out there like that. So it's kind of scary for me as well.
Right.
So, yeah.
Have you written any songs for anybody?
I have here and there, not for any well-known artists as of yet, but I do write for, some people come to me like, hey, can you write for me? And I'll do it for, upcoming artists. I've written a song that, I write all of my songs. I wrote a song that me and my dad actually did a song a couple of years ago. I just never put it out. It's called "Think You Got It All." "Think You Got It All." It's not that kind of song, so don't do that. It's not like a duet. It's not like a duet or anything. Like it's so it's not what people will expect. But it's a pretty cool song. I'm gonna put it out soon. But
well, why haven't you put it out? Like, wow.
I just haven't. When you're like waiting for the right time to put it out, and then it's never the right time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or you're trying to we're trying to get it together, get it to sound exactly how I want it to sound, and then we move on to other things, and it kind of gets left.
All right.
So many people have been.
So definitely the right time is right now on the OTAP, so you could debut it right now.
I could if I had it.
Oh, got it.
Awesome, because people would. I know. It's on a hard drive somewhere. We good. I'll definitely bring it on the show though.
Okay. So, all right. So choosing, the music path, how do you become Nicole Tresvant as opposed to being just Ralph Tresvant's daughter? I imagine that being an obstacle. How do you create your own wave like that?
It's kind of been a struggle, trying to figure out exactly, what sound I'm going for. So it's pretty much just what I'm learning right now is just to do what I love. I don't honestly what a lot of people don't understand is that I do everything on my own. Me and my now husband, he's been my producer from the beginning. We've done everything by ourselves. My father, he's really had the only thing that he does is I'll bring the songs to him and I'll be like, hey, what do you think about it? Honestly, there's everything I've done by myself, for that simple fact that I don't want to have that or not that judgment, or that judgment that people like, oh, you're only doing, your dad is helping you out. He's done all that. He probably wrote that. He probably did this and that. But honestly, we've done everything ourselves. So, and I'm just doing what I do.
Do comparisons like that, does it bother you? Because they're going to compare you and him, even though his sound was more New Jack Swing and yours is definitely more pure R&B. And I guess his in the later years became more R&B. But they're going to find some way to compare it and to judge it. Does that bother you?
No, because I kind of expect it. There's no way around it with me. Being who he is, I expect it. But I just can't. I just know there's gonna be people who like my sound. There's gonna be people who don't. People who you know people who prefer to listen to his music over mine, which is fine. Because I want to not only just target his audience, I want my own audience as well. You know what I mean? So that's just, because I'm not just R&B. Like, I love all types of music, and that's what people will see with what I'm doing now. It's going to be totally different, and people are going to be like, you know, maybe like, what is this, or where is she going, or what is it, or but my whole thing is I just want people to enjoy the music. I just do what I love in hopes that other people can enjoy it.
Where do you draw your inspiration for your songs?
Pretty much from life, because everything that I write is pretty much personal experiences for myself, whether myself or somebody around me. I draw inspiration from life itself. So yeah.
Tell us about the song "Leave Lonely," because I dig the jam. Like, I was listening to it like earlier today. Don't leave it lonely alone. I like it.
Thank you. Leave Lonely is one of my favorites. Leave Lonely is pretty much like it's Leave Lonely for me was just me talking to myself. Like it's not a person directly. It's like leave lonely alone, pretty much leaving your your past, your hurt, your pain, anything that hinders you from being happy, or anything that keeps you. It could be for anybody. It can be drinking. It could be a person, that's making you feel that way. And for me, that was just, my way of saying, like, but that was just to myself, like, get out of your own way. For me, like, I can't, like, we can't, me and that person, we can't coincide. I can't coincide with a sad person, with a depressed person. I can't not with this person that I'm trying to be. That's what Leave Lonely is pretty much saying.
I can really see your creative process over that, especially with the video, because what I noticed in it is, because you are a writer, and one of the first scenes, it looks like it's a diary, and throughout the video you see like the scribes, you see the writings like across the video. Like, that's awesome. Like, I can see that. That's really cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
So if it's cool, I would like to play it on the show. I want my listeners to hear it.
That's great.
All right. So you go ahead and
I hope they enjoy.
You introduce it, and then I will get it kicking.
Okay. Well, everyone, this is my latest single, Leave Lonely. I hope you enjoy it.
Was your friend, told me all your thoughts, made me trust in you, believed in all your lies. Said it's all my fault, I'll never get it back. And I was comfortable with everything you said. I had to realize that this is not my place. Had to show myself that this is not my fate but my mistake. I let you in, but you are not to stay. I can't stand the thought of you in my head. Get you out of my life. I'm leaving lonely behind. I'm leaving lonely alone. I'm leaving lonely where it's at. I'm leaving lonely alone, and I'll be gone before it's red. This is my final goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You're my enemy in my mind, yes, my enemy. Ooh, you're taking all my energy from me. Now go and let my energy be. Yes, you and I, we can't coincide. No existence, babe. I'll admit that it was my mistake. I let you in, but you are not to stay. I can't stand the thought of you in my head. Get you out of my life. I'm leaving lonely behind. I'm leaving lonely alone. I'm leaving lonely where it's at. I'm leaving lonely alone, and I'll be gone before it's red. This is my final goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. All the pain, hope it fades away. All the memories stop reminding me. All this hurt, hope it fades away. Hope it fades away. Let it fade away. All my dreams, you made them fade away. All my love, you made it fade away. And my heart, you made it fade away. You took that away. I'll get it back today. I can't bear the thought of you in my head. Get you out of my life. I'm leaving lonely behind. I'm leaving lonely alone. I'm leaving lonely where it's at. I'm leaving lonely alone, and I'll be gone before it's red. This is my final goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I'm leaving lonely alone. I'm leaving lonely where it's at. I'm leaving lonely alone, and I'll be gone before it's red.
Leave lonely. I told you that's my jam. I'm leaving lonely alone. That's my jam. And I will have a. It's on iTunes, right?
It is. Yes.
Okay, I'll have a link to it in the show notes, and my website is actually about to get ready to go under reconstruction again because I don't like who I'm using as the webmaster. So that's a totally different. That's a totally different subject. But so let's talk about. Let's finish the conversation about music. So, what does music mean to you? You grew up around it, and in one facet or another, in everybody's life, music plays a certain part. But for you, what does it mean to you?
Oh my goodness, music is an outlet for me. Anything that I go through, anything that whether it's, whether I'm happy, whether I'm sad, it's my outlet. So, ever since I was younger, that's always been my outlet. So I've always just written my feelings, whether it was horrible, whether it wasn't, I just always done it. And music in itself, just listening to music, other people's music, it just, it inspires me. Actually, when I listen to great music, different artists, it just inspires me to be better, get better. It inspires me. It gives me inspiration on how to, write for other people. So it's just so much that music gives me, as just as who I am because I've always been around it. So it's kind of like it's like food for me. So I just love it. If I can't do it, if I get writer's block, I get upset, So it's kind of like it makes me sad if I get those writer blocks or if I,
So
It's kind of like that.
for the people that are listening, particularly younger people that are listening and want to have a career in music or want to do music, writer's block is a part of it. It happens, and for
Hmm.
some, because I've had writer's block before, and it can be discouraging. What do you
Right.
do? How do you get past it? What advice would you have for someone that's they're stuck in their writer's block funk right now, and it's to them it's the end of the world. Like what would you say to them?
With me, what I do is I just take time out, take time away, and then, get a breather. Don't let it, bother you too much. Just start, even if you're just writing ideas down, you don't have to write out, just write out words. Like, what you want your topic to be as far as the song. So you just write down ideas and then just go back to it later and then just piece it together how you want. That's what works for me. And I just try not to stress on it too much. Like if I'm just sitting there and my melodies aren't right, I just step back for a little bit, and then just try to, and I pick a time, just a quiet space with yourself, and just go full force. That's what I have to do sometimes because being with that since I have kids now, I'm totally distracted all the time. There's I have no time for myself anymore. So I'm pretty much I hit writer's block a lot because I have screaming baby in this ear, and then I'm on my computer trying to type here, and then my son he's talking about he's thirsty. So there's so many things that can distract you. So it's like just trying to find that time for yourself. Just make time for it. Just
So
that's my best advice.
let's talk about family. So you're married. Um,
Yes.
tell us about the proposal. Were you expecting it? Were you looking for it? Were you surprised? Tell us about it.
Oh my goodness. I was not proposed to.
Oh,
I didn't have a proposal.
it was arranged. It was an arranged
It
marriage.
was. It was. Well, not like not like arranged, but pretty much like because this is so funny. But like I can laugh about it now, but like with like my husband, his parents are pastors. Okay,
Mhm.
so me and him, well, I got pregnant before we got married.
And that's okay.
And,
And that's cool.
right, it is 5. It is right. But, and
I want kids. Not to cut you off, but I want kids, and I want to be married. I don't necessarily have to be married first to have children. I really want
right,
kids. You know what I mean? So for people,
right,
for the assholes that's listening that want to judge, I'm
right.
not even going.
That is true. That's true
Yeah,
because you have that out there.
yeah.
But by no means, we didn't get married because they told us to, or that was that. But um, well, it was a decision that me and him came up with together because we did not want to. That was something that we personally didn't want. Have, we wanted to be married before we brought in our child.
Hmm.
And that was just our decision. At the time I was 21, I was young. There was so much going on at that time. So, you know, he was my best friend since the day we met. So, it was easy.
Hmm.
I didn't need a proposal, at that point. I didn't need that. So,
So y'all just decided, like, okay, we're about to have a child, so we don't want to have it out of wedlock, so let's just get married. That was it.
yep. And 2 months later, we got married. So it was a decision that we based it on.
That's
That we did.
that's really cool. That's cool. When
Hmm.
you first found out you were going to have a baby, what was your first initial thought?
I was scared. I was happy. I was freaking out. I'm like, how do we tell our parents? Like, how do we tell them this or whatever, me, especially at that time, like it wasn't no big deal to tell my parents, like me, I was always kind of like the rebel, so I didn't really care. Like I was always like,
I would
I
have
was like,
never guessed that
whatever.
you were a
Like
rebel. I would have never guessed that.
I was. Do you really?
I would have never guessed
Think
that you
of
were
me
a
a
rebel.
second.
No, really, because we're about to dive into
Okay.
that. So we'll finish this up. We're gonna talk about that because I am very intrigued.
Yeah, I was a rebel. Yeah, so like it doesn't like I was like in one area I'm like what like I care but what I really don't care like it was just the process of it like I was just scared like it's new, it's something that like what do I do, like where do I go now from that, so yeah.
Got you. And so, take me to the moment when you first held your baby in your arms.
um it wasn't a long process at all. Surprisingly, I was only in labor for like 6 hours before I had him, so it wasn't like it wasn't anything long, but it was just amazing. Like it was like wow, it's like all like none of that from the beginning even mattered anymore. Like nobody's opinions, nothing mattered at that point, and we were just excited. And it was our biggest blessing, and he is still our biggest blessing to this day.
That's what's up. Do you sit around and watch when you sit around and you watch him? Do you sort of see things that you can sort of tell? Oh no, that's definitely me in him, or that's definitely his dad. That he's doing that because that's who his dad is. What are some of those things?
Yeah, all the time. Like he there's just like he loves playing, like he loves playing the keyboard. He's into music.
A
So
little
his
producer.
dad, right. So he's been around that since he was, his dad always kept him in the studio, near keyboard, around drums, in church. So he's always just gravitated to that. So he knows how to work like Pro Tools and things like that. He knows how to work any kind of
Really?
music software. Oh yeah, all day. It's so funny. Like people see them and they're like, "Wow, this is crazy." Like he can really run a whole studio session with his dad. Like he knows how to do that at 4 years old. Like
Wow.
seriously.
Any beats or any music?
Yeah, he has. A lot of times, my husband would just bring him in the studio, and he'll just let him do what he wants. So he has a couple of those and on in some files, on the computer. So it's something that he loves it.
That's what's up. That's really cool. All right, so now
Yeah.
we're about to get into you being a rebel because I would have never guessed that.
Why wouldn't you?
I would have
Nobody.
never guessed it. But again, maybe it's because you are quiet, But then again, those are the
Mhm.
ones. So, why was it? Where did this come from? What were you rebelling against?
I don't. Just I was just that one. Like, it was because little to anybody know my parents, or not my parents, but yeah, my parents, they were really strict. Like, there's a couple of times I couldn't go anywhere. I didn't go to my any homecomings in high school
Oh
until
man.
senior year, because I was always in trouble. So I stayed in trouble. Um, yeah, I was the one that would sneak boys over. I was that one. I was
Wow.
horrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's okay. All right, cool. I
Yeah,
get
I was that kid. But thank God for growth, because I'm not there anymore.
Wow. Have you sat and thought and worried about any of that showing up in your children?
I try not to think about it, and I hope
Because
it
it's coming.
doesn't. I really hope it doesn't. Like me and my friends, like like me and my main friends are like all mothers now, so we're like, yeah, we're never letting our kids go to the movies by themselves because we know what goes on. Or, if you ever said, they're going over a friend's house, we're gonna go take them there, and we're gonna pop up randomly all the time. So we just know now we're like, we don't want that payback. So we try to avoid that conversation.
What's the one thing about motherhood that you learned that you wish someone would have told you before?
I mean, it's hard. It's not. I mean, it's the best thing you'll do, but it's like the most nerve-wracking thing ever. It's like as soon as you get past one stage with a child, they go into another one. And it's like, okay. And then like my son, like, okay, he's gonna be starting school soon. So that's a whole nother thing that I'm have to jump into with him. So there's no handbook for that. And I know we hear that sometimes, like, there's no handbook, there's no time to be ready. There's no way to prepare to be a mother or a parent in general. So, and I've heard that quite a bit, but it's like, man, could y'all write that out a little more? Like, go into details of why? Because that would have helped me out. That would have helped me out quite a bit.
Is your son aware of the family that he's a part of?
My son, he thinks he knows what my dad does, but to him that's just, he calls him G-Paw. That's his G-Paw. So, but he'll see like my sister-in-law like brought him to her church, and the first lady there, she loves him so much, and and then he loves her. So when he sees her on TV, she does something on TV, and he's like, wow, look at First Lady. She's on TV. She thinks she's more famous than my father. So it's so funny. Like, so he doesn't look at it that way. It's so funny. Like, he's just such a kid. So, and it's so genuine. So.
Cool. Last few things before we finish up. Anybody that watched the BET Awards knows that there's a new edition movie that's coming out, which a lot of my friends, me included, very excited about. Seeing them, come up. I want to know your thoughts on it. I want to know if how you feel about seeing that movie, the person that's playing your dad, and is that weird for you to watch it? Like, because I think the person that's playing it, he's younger than you, right?
He might be, yeah, a little younger than me, right? Algie Smith is like, I don't know, he's probably early 20s or something. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, it's not weird. I mean, it's at this point, it's kind of like, man, like it's about time, like because it's been in the works, or they've been talking about it for so long. So like I'm just so excited. Like I don't think it's weird yet until I actually watch the movie itself. But I just feel like I just think it's gonna be great because they all had an input on, in the movie. So it's directly from the group themselves. So the story is going to be told right, and it's going to be correct, so they don't have to worry about their story being told wrong. So I'm so happy that they get to experience this while all of them are still alive, and get to see that, and just watch themselves. I think it's more, I think it's more amazing to them because it's like going through the process. They're seeing, especially like the younger ones, the younger kids of them, like seeing them go back to the projects and, things like that was really like, that was like, wow, that was really something that, and watching my father's mother is not with us any longer, but seeing them play her, and that is kind of like a tearjerker in a way, because it's like, man, it's like you're reliving those moments, so I think it's going to be great.
Are you nervous? At least from a personal standpoint, are you nervous about the movie coming out and some of the things that are going to be shown and talked about?
Oh, not at all. I don't nervous on that end. It's just, you just, yeah, I know it's going to be told right, but I'm more nervous about, you know, I'm just more nervous about just the movie in general. Like I'm just, it's exciting, and then it's like, I hope it's what people, because they're fans, they've wanted that for so long because they've invested their money into them, and so much, and they've rocked with them for like 30 years plus, so I just, man, I'm like, I just hope it's everything that they want, as well. Being that, they're just as close to the family as anything.
So
we interact.
I know what the movie is going to be about and what it's going to cover. I don't know over what time span. I bring that up to say, is there going to be a little baby in there playing you?
I do know that there's what I know is that there's a point in there where my father will be talking or breaking the news to his mother that that he'd be expecting.
Oh,
so so there's a whole little scene in there, so we'll see. I don't know.
Spoiler alert.
I might have a baby cameo in there. I don't know. Who knows? I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I got you. Spoiler alert. He
right,
has a kid.
right. He has a kid. So hey.
That's dope. I'm super excited for it because, like you said, it's about time.
Right, and then another thing that they have going. So the movie, and they get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this year.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be awesome. Yeah. So it's gonna be great because that's
that's
I can't believe other artists.
I can't believe that's not happened yet.
Right.
I cannot believe that's not happened.
That's what a lot of us say. We don't know why they don't have it yet, but it's finally coming. Some of their fans were so adamant about getting it, and they did an awesome job of getting that paperwork done, and they got it done. So I'm so happy about that.
So Niquel, thank you for doing the show. This has been awesome. We've had a really, really great time. You do this, plug anything that you got going, any place that they can find you, anything that you want the people to know.
Just look for my new music. I'll be coming out later soon. I'm working on it now, working really, really hard, trying to find the sound that I'm comfortable with, get to a place that I'm just flowing freely through my music again. So I want everybody to look forward to new music coming from me. It's going to be totally different than what you're used to from me, and I'm excited. So I hope you all enjoy it when I do release it.
That's been Miss Niquel Tresvant Smith. Tresvant Smith. Try to say it 3 times fast. The Smith part, is that part of it? Do you include that as in your stage name, or that's just on part? Okay. No. I mean, I get it. I understand it. I just want to be respectful.
No, it's just Niquel Tresvant, so it's always there.
Tell your dad how much of a great time you had on the... No, I'm just playing. I'd like to thank our guests for coming on today. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, send an email to otap@writeme.com. Follow the conversation on Twitter by searching the hashtag OTAP, that's OTAP, or following us on Twitter at OTAP Show. You can find the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Android users can listen to the podcast on Podcast Republic. Just download the app and search OTAP Show. On behalf of our guest, I'm your host, Corey, and I'll see you back here next week on the Air Podcast, starring you. I was just about to go get some chicken, And I looked at my text.
Really?
my chicken levels was kind of low, so I was like, all right, well, I'll go get some chicken. Maybe because I figured you were in the studio or something, so I was like, well, I'll go get some chicken.
No, I just had some chicken myself, so I understand.
So you get it, right?
I get it. I get it.
About this time every week, like on Sundays, my chicken levels get super low, so I had to go. I was like, all right, but definitely after this, I'm going to get some chicken. So
Okay, it's necessary.
Right. All right. So before we get started, is there anything in particular?